When we begin to experience good, pleasurable and more positive feelings, we have the opportunity to build on those emotions by setting goals that bring more joy into our lives. But when it comes to setting goals based on our positivity, it's important that we set ourselves goals that also protect our new good feelings. To make it easier to set manageable goals that also protect the good and positive feelings, in this video, we're going to break down how we make decisions, which will help you protect the good emotions that you've worked hard to attain. This is I Want to Know How to Feel Good. Whenever we make a decision in life, the reason why we make a decision can be separated into two categories. The first category being, we make a decision to avoid some kind of pain. And the second category being that we make a decision to move us closer towards some kind of pleasure. To better explain this, let me give an example of two different couples. Both couples are making the same decision, which is to work overtime to earn extra money. But the reasons why they are making this decision are opposite ends of the spectrum. Avoiding pain. Harry and Sally decide to work endless hours of overtime to pay off their huge credit card debts. In this scenario, the couple's decision is to work as much overtime as they can, but the reason why they are working so hard is to avoid an even greater pain than they currently live with, which is the pain of falling even further into debt, which could lead to bankruptcy. Moving towards pleasure. Now let's look at Tim and Sue. They are also decide to work endless hours of overtime so they can take their family on holiday for 2 weeks, lie on a warm white sanded beach surrounded by clear blue waters. But this couple's decision to work overtime is to move towards pleasure, which is enjoying a family holiday. What we've discovered here is that when it comes to us making any decision, we have two opposite motivations within us, which are the need to avoid some kind of pain and the desire to move towards some kind of pleasure. How does this fit into your decision making? When it comes to choosing a self-help system to follow or meeting up with a trained counsellor, we make the decision to go through this process to avoid feeling even worse than we currently do or having a lower quality of life than we currently live. Whenever we reach this point, we recognise that we reached a particular pain level within us that we don't want to experience. And we know that we don't want to spiral down into even lower levels of emotional pain. This decision we make is avoiding an even worse kind of personal pain. But when the counselling begins to work for us, or when the self-help system we choose shows us ways to experience good feelings, we reach a point where we begin to feel a new range of feelings in our emotional palette, which are things like feeling peaceful, more confident, strong and, well, just feeling good. And the more we begin to experience those good feelings, this also creates opportunities to set goals to move towards even more pleasure. These goals could be things like just keeping on top of the dishes or doing the housework, or doing some small home improvements that we've been putting off, or maybe just going for a walk and enjoying the outdoors, or whatever it is that's personal to you. To me, when we feel good feelings which allows us to make us decisions that bring us more joy to our lives, it's a good example of what true positivity is. As true positivity is an action we decide to do based on our good feelings. And keeping in mind that the goals aren't so enjoyable, like cleaning your home is such an endless joy. But you know at the end of the cleaning session, you'll experience that your home feels much better and looks so much better too. And you can sit back, relax and enjoy the fruits of your labour, which is the pleasure that you was moving towards. Making goals based on your good feelings. I said in a previous video that I don't see the glass as half full or half empty. Instead, I see that if the glass is being filled up, then it's half filled. And if it's been poured out, then it's half emptied. Which is the third option that communicates that I'm not a positive or negative person, but I'm a realistic person. After emotionally linking back and stepping out of the roaring room, you'll experience a better range of feelings from your emotional palette. When you experience these good feelings, you have the opportunity to set goals to move you towards pleasure, which will create more positivity and joy in your life. But it's important that you set yourself goals that protect your well-earned good feelings. As something we'll be talking about in a future video, is that when we make decisions to move us towards pleasure, we can so easily get carried away with the excitement of our good feelings. When you experience your own personal positive feelings and you use them to make decisions to move you closer to experiencing pleasure, then you are experiencing what true positivity is. By making goals to move you towards pleasure based on your good feelings, you are being congruent with your feelings and you are no longer making decisions to avoid pain, but you are now setting small goals to move you towards pleasure. Setting goals that protect your positive and good feelings. If you notice, the examples of the goals that I give to move towards pleasure were simple things like spring cleaning, small DIY projects, or just going for a walk. As the reason I encourage you setting smaller goals when you are beginning to experience your own personal positivity is because since your good feelings are new to you, it's easy to misread what will keep you experiencing those good feelings and overestimate the goals you set. For example, the very first time I felt great after emotionally linking back, I decided to strip the wallpaper off the stairs and landing, repaper the walls and repaint the doors and woodwork. I worked all day stripping the wallpaper, which I think was put on with Gorilla Glue. And after about an hour work and hardly getting anywhere with my project, I noticed that I didn't feel my good feelings that I'd worked so hard earlier that day to experience. And I was beginning to feel bad again, which made me think that I had even more work to do in my inner world. But all that really happened was that I'd set a goal to move towards pleasure, but I had bitten off way more than I could chew. Meaning I didn't have more work to do in my inner world, but just that I'd set a goal which was too high for me to keep hold of my positive feelings. I'm not saying that it's important, but I'm saying it's essential that you learn how to protect your personal positive feelings as much as you can by setting smaller goals in the beginning, as it's easy to feel overexcited when you experience new good feelings, which can make you set huge goals. Now, I'm not saying that you're unable to achieve the goals that you set no matter how big they are, but what I am saying is that setting achievable goals to move you towards pleasure whilst protecting your good feelings is a skill that's learnt. With this in mind, I'll end by saying that when you decide to move towards pleasure by setting goals because you are feeling more positive, then even if you just feel like watching a movie without experiencing your usual emotional pain, then that's great, as you are taking baby steps with your good feelings and not racing off into the sunset and leaving them behind. I'm a bit dramatic sometimes, aren't I? And watching a film with your new, good, positive feelings could be a new experience for you. But I know that through practice, you'll get to know how to protect your good and positive feelings, allowing you to make goals that bring more pleasure and joy into your life. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.